Spec Sheet Battle Comparison 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. Edgy SUV Matchup Comparison 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. Car brands that carry midsize SUVs in the Philippine market have been adding sport trims to their lineups in recent years. One example of these sport trims includes the pre-facelifted Terra VL that was launched back in 2021. The same goes for the previous gen Ford Everest, which had an available sport trim. Fast forward to 2023, and both Nissan and Ford have continued to offer these sport trims for the all-new Terra and Everest, respectively. And like the older versions, these two are going for a more intimidating look via black-colored exterior pieces. Alternatives to their chromed-out regular variants, if you will. But which is better on paper? Is it the Nissan Terra Sport 4x2, or the Ford Everest Sport 4x2? Let's find out by comparing them. But before we start, do note that we chose these variants to compare since they're the most similar. Both are 4x2 SUVs after all. The Terra Sport does have a 4x4 trim, but remember that the Everest Sport does not. Exterior Comparison 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. To kick off the spec sheet battle between Terra Sport and Everest Sport, let's compare their dimensions. This is important since this can provide clues as to which vehicle is more spacious. For its dimensions, the Terra Sport is 4,900 mm long, 1,865 mm wide, and 1,865 mm high. It also has a wheelbase length of 2,850 mm, and a ground clearance of 225 mm. Compare that to Everest Sport, which comes with a length of 4,914 mm, a width of 1,923 mm, and a height of 1,842 mm. The Ford model then has a ground clearance of 227 mm, and a wheelbase length of 2,900 mm. We can see from the figures above that the Ford SUV is slightly longer and wider than the Nissan. It likewise has a longer wheelbase and slightly more ground clearance. The Nissan, however, is a bit taller than the Ford. As they are sport versions, both are provided with a more edgy look. This was achieved via black-colored exterior parts on both SUVs' grilles, door handles, roof rails, side mirrors, and fog lamp housings. The wheels they use are likewise colored fully black. The Terra Sport, however, does get a larger 20-inch set, whereas the Everest Sport uses an 18-inch set. Likewise fitted on the Nissan Terra Sport are a black-colored rear spoiler and a black tailgate garnish. The Everest Sport likewise gets a black tailgate garnish, but its rear spoiler is body-colored. When it comes to exterior amenities, one can say that both models are on par with each other. That's because both are kitted out with LED headlamps with an auto-on/off function, LED daytime running lamps, LED taillights, and LED front fog lamps. A roof rack, a side step board, and rain-sensing wipers are likewise present on these two models. The Ford Everest Sport does have a power tailgate, while the Nissan Terra Sport does not. This might make loading cargo on the Ford model a bit easy. Interior Comparison 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. As with most midsize SUVs in the market, both the Terra Sport and the Everest Sport qualify as family-friendly rides due to their 7-person seating capacity. Both models likewise provide ample levels of comfort via their leather-clad seats, dual-zone automatic air conditioning systems, and their sufficient number of charging ports. Furthermore, both also come with 60-40 split folding second-row seats, and 50-50 split folding third-row seats. One huge advantage that the Nissan SUV does get over the Ford is the fact that it comes standard with an 11-inch flip-down rear monitor for the second row. This feature is not present in the Everest Sport. These two models likewise provide plenty of features to make their drivers' lives easier. Both come with a push-to-start button, a power-adjustable driver's seat, and a multifunction steering wheel. The Everest Sport does get an auto-dimming rear-view mirror that's unavailable on the Terra Sport. Moreover, The Ford also gets a tilt and telescopic steering column, while the Terra Sports is tilt adjustable only. On the flip side, the Terra Sport comes with ambient lighting, which is then absent from the Ford model. Both likewise feature a digital gauge cluster. The one on the Terra Sport, however, is a smaller 7-inch unit, while the Everest Sport gets a larger 8-inch digital cluster screen. Handling onboard entertainment for the Nissan Terra Sport 4x2 is an 8-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This head-unit is then linked to a 6-piece speaker system. The one on the Everest Sport meanwhile is a much larger 10-inch head-unit. It likewise gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, though it's linked to a potentially better-sounding 8-piece speaker set. Lastly, the Terra Sport and the Everest Sport both come with wireless charging. This pairs well with the wireless functionality of their Apple CarPlay software. Engine compare 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. Where engines are concerned, both use a turbo diesel. The Terra Sport utilizes a 2.5-liter inline-4 engine that can produce up to 187 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque. It then uses a 7-speed automatic gearbox. The Everest Sport, in turn, gets a 2.0-liter engine that's capable of producing 167 horsepower and 405 Nm of torque. It then uses a 6-speed automatic gearbox. As per those figures mentioned above, the Terra Sport is a bit more powerful than the Everest Sport. It also has one more gear on its transmission. Safety compare 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. Handling safety for both models is an array of features that you'd expect from a modern SUV. Both get anti-lock braking, stability control, front and rear parking sensors, hill start assist, hill descent control, ISOFIX child seat anchors, an engine immobilizer, and a car alarm. Both also feature cruise control. Present on the Terra Sport but unavailable on the Everest Sport is a tire pressure monitor. The Ford model does get a total of 7 airbags, while the Nissan gets a total of 6. As for driver assist features, the Terra Sport gets the Nissan Intelligent Mobility Driver Assist Suite. This includes a 360-degree view monitor, blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning, driver alerts, blind spot warning, and rear cross-traffic alert. The Everest Sport in turn, lacks the comprehensive driver assist kit that's present on the Nissan. It does come with an adjustable speed limiter, which isn't present on the Nissan SUV. 2023 Nissan Terra Sport vs Ford Everest Sport. Conclusion. Where amenities and comfort features are concerned, the Nissan Terra Sport 4x2 is just about the same as the Ford Everest Sport. They likewise provide the same amount of machismo from their black-colored exterior trim pieces. If it comes to safety, however, we can say that the Terra Sport 4x2 takes the proverbial cake. The Terra Sport in general gets a more comprehensive safety kit than the Everest Sport. On top of its standard crash safety equipment, it likewise gets a full array of driver-assistive technologies. With those aforementioned tools, the Terra Sport may be better at avoiding crashes and fender benders than the Ford model in the first place. So, if utmost safety is your concern, you might want to lean more toward the Nissan model. There's also the fact that the Terra Sport does make a bit more power and torque than the Everest Sport. This means that it is likewise faster on the straights than the Everest Sport. As with most comparisons though, we do encourage you to take each vehicle for a test drive. This is especially true if you're considering these two models,